Welcome to another video about SoulArk. There are a lot of heroes in this game, and when you first start, it can be confusing, trying to decide which ones are worth building and which ones you should ignore. You might check their skills and think, hey, they sound great, only to find out that they aren't any help at all when you get them on your team. I am here today to offer some guidance. I'm going to cover some of the most useful and most powerful heroes in the game. This won't be a definitive list of the top tier heroes because the rankings actually change quite often. Heroes routinely receive limit breaks and buffs in updates, sometimes without warning. A hero might be useless, and then after a patch they are in every top arena team. This keeps the game interesting, but it also means that any top hero list will easily become outdated. That brings me to the SSS Hero Guide. Check the link in the description and you will find a link to a guide that covers all of the SSS heroes, and it will be updated with each patch. If you are watching this video more than a few months after it was first posted, I highly recommend that you check the guide. There is a really good chance that something has changed, probably more than a few things. Please keep in mind that this is a very, very basic overview. For all the details and everything you could possibly want to know about these characters, please check out the SSS Hero Guide and join the Discord. That is where you're going to get the really in-depth descriptions. But for now, here are some of the best heroes in the game. Starting off with Dejean. Right now, she is your top DPS, the #1 attacker and the hero you should be building as soon as possible. She can wreck enemies in PvE and she can be a beast in PvP. She will hit the entire team with crit attacks that deal additional damage to shielded enemies, and she can focus on a single target with a pierce attack, all while applying a variety of debuffs. Build her with a set of 4 silver pistols and 4 sharp shurikens to make her as deadly as possible. Scarlett is, in my opinion, the best support hero in the game. She is a must-have hero that will be used in almost every mode. When she's limit broken, her passive will give you 2 additional attribute points every turn. Her Link B generates attribute points, and if you build her with 4 soul necklaces and 4 soul rings, you can consistently fill up your power gauge. In addition to that, she reduces the enemy's defense by 60% and grants herself invincibility for 4 turns. Her Link A will reduce buffs on the target by 3 turns, which is a major help against some bosses. As if that's not enough, she has a unique power skill. 75% of the damage dealt from linked heroes during the turn will be reapplied at the end of the turn. This results in a huge damage bonus if you have attackers that can land solid hits. When you start the game as a new player right now, you'll receive enough copies to limit break her. Do this! You'll need to farm a few materials, but it shouldn't take too long. If you have questions about how limit breaking works, check out the link to the starter guide in the description. You will also get a copy of Jade when you start, and he can be your tank in pretty much every mode. He's all about granting the team defensive buffs. Every member of your team will receive increased defense, unless they are an offense hero. In that case, they get increased attack. 50% of the damage dealt to the team will be redirected to Jade, which is fine, because he's got a shield equal to up to 220% of his own max HP. His power skill will negate the damage being redirected to him for 4 turns, and he can heal 50% of his HP when he's hit with a death blow. His Link B will reduce evasion, which is very useful against certain bosses. Build him with defensive apps like Wall Shield and Immortal Pendants. Nezha will basically burn your enemies to death slowly. His damage over time abilities are fierce, and when combined with other DOT heroes, he can do ridiculous amounts of damage. Nezha stacks burn effects. The more they stack, the worse it gets for the enemy. Not only will it deal damage every turn, but Nezha will recover HP based on the number of burning enemies, and when they attack him, their damage will be massively reduced. Build him up defensively with apps like Wall Shield, Strongheart, or Immortal Pendants. The longer he stays alive, the more damage he can continuously deal out. Pilgrim is another damage over time terror, and her skills are very unique. She applies a tiger effect that will cause the enemy to receive damage each time they use a skill. If they die, Pilgrim recovers up to 40% of her own max HP. Her passive applies this to the 2 lowest HP enemies, and her power skill will give it to the 2 with the highest HP. If you can blind the enemy, you can end up with a situation where they are essentially attacking themselves to death. Pairing her with another DOT hero and building up your defense can help you slowly but surely defeat even the most stubborn enemies. Wall shields, immortal pendants, and soul rings are great apps for her. Limit Broken Ashe was the queen of PvP for quite a while. She still shows up in a lot of teams and can be a game changer. When limit broken, she will gain invincibility for 5 turns after her health has been reduced to 0. If both teams have Ashe, victory may be determined by the player that went first, which is why speed apps can be so important in PvP. With the introduction of some recent heroes, Ashe isn't as must-have as she used to be, but she is still absolutely worth building and using on your journey up the ranks. Her power skill will seal the enemy team's block and insight, while her Link B reduces the duration of all enemy buffs by 2 turns. Give her 4 silver pistols for pierce damage and 4 crisis awareness, which increases her attack when her health is low. She's guaranteed to have low health for at least 5 rounds, so this app is perfect for her. Ezen can really keep your gang safe. This towel boy will greatly increase the defense and block chance for your entire team while he heals himself every time the enemy uses a 5-target skill. He can grant everyone a boost that recovers half of the damage received during the next 3 turns. He was the star of PvP for a long time, and he still shows up in a lot of teams, but he can also help you get past some difficult stages in adventure mode. Build him with defensive apps like Guardian Armor, Wall Shield, or Regeneration Belts. Before Dejean came along, Jan was the star offensive hero. He will stack shock effects that deal increased damage, debuff the enemy, and seal their recovery. When the shock effects stack up, he can recover HP and deal damage based on the max HP of the target. He's great for clearing story content, and when limit broken, he's a great addition to a PvP team. He works great as a second offensive hero to complement your main DPS because of his passive that deals shock to enemies that attack him. Build him with a mix of defensive and offensive apps. You can use immortality pendants and 2 sets of apps that have a 10% attack bonus. Amara is a very versatile hero that will mostly be used in PvE and boss content. Her power skill will grant immunity to a variety of debuffs, and her link effects can change depending on the hero used. She can increase crit, reduce enemy buffs, increase evasion, heal the team, or increase everyone's recovery. She can also apply darkness, which is like an extra strong blind that can completely prevent the enemy from landing an attack. She's best used manually so that you can pick and choose what you need her to do. In some cases, her passive is enough. She will greatly reduce the enemy team's attack if they have 3 or more offensive heroes, and she can massively decrease their recovery if they have 2 or more balanced heroes. Build her with soul rings and soul necklaces to keep your power gauge as full as possible. If you are just starting out, any and all of those characters are absolutely worth building. That doesn't mean they're the only good heroes in the game though. I'm going to go through a few more, a little less detail for these, but still, these are all great characters, and if you want more details, please check the hero guide and also join the Discord and ask questions. Sonya is a great attacker that can deal huge amounts of ranged damage. Iris is an offensive hero, but she can be used as a support because of her full team attack boost passive and crit boost for linked heroes. Alexandria is an attacker that can give linked heroes a massive damage buff when you're attacking 5 enemies. Great for clearing out groups of enemies in PvE. Rhina has some very interesting abilities. Depending on where she's placed, your team will receive different buffs. Need a shield? Rhina gives 800% shield to the first slot. How about increased evasion? Slot 2 and 3 will do that. 4th and 5th get increased damage and darkness immunity. Very useful in certain PvE situations and extremely useful against bosses. Aurelia's damage increases as her teammates die, and she gains invincibility for 5 attacks after receiving a death blow. Her damage has buffs for when enemies have high HP and for when they have low HP. If you like damage over time heroes, you'll like Wen. Pair her with Nezha and Pilgrim to take advantage of her bleed, stun, and anti-recovery debuffs. Chell just received a limit break. She can remove invincibility and deal HP based damage while healing herself. Now, unfortunately, there are a few heroes that aren't really that useful. I can't recommend you build these heroes unless you have the extra resources, because you probably won't use them that much. Even with her limit break, Celeste just doesn't do that much. She has a really interesting set of PvE focused skills, but in practice, she just can't compare to the previously mentioned heroes. She has been used in certain boss teams in a very specific way, so there's hope for Celeste, but for the moment, wait until you've built the other heroes before you spend any time building her. Mamba has some great poison abilities, but she really only has one use, as a member of your ancient monster team. She's only there for her passive though, and won't be doing anything else. She hasn't gotten a limit break yet, but when she does, look out, because I'm calling it right now, she will be top tier. Until then, sadly, there's not much for Mamba to do. I've seen Flux in some teams, but you really don't need to worry about him. I sometimes forget he's even a character in this game. Lind is a very cool looking hero that I would love to see in more teams, but so far he really doesn't show up much in PvE or PvP. I've only seen one player use him well, so he may have hidden potential. Now, what about Solstice and Talia? If you are focused on PvP and you have a little money to spend, Solstice and Talia are good choices. Just be warned that the rates to pull them are terrible, and you can only summon them on the banners that require paid red crystals. If you do decide to go for them, wait until there is a rate up. They occasionally have a 5 times rate up. There is a pity that you can hit to get the character, but you need to spend quite a few red crystals to get there. You can farm Solstice, but it's a very slow process. If Talia follows the same path, she will also be farmable, but currently the only way to get her is by summoning. If you are a new player, I would say do not worry about them. They are really only for people who want to hit the top ranks in PvP. They're really cool characters, they're really interesting. I like them, especially Talia, but you don't need them to clear the story content. They are extra characters, and you'll be fine without them. One more thing I should mention is that there are 2 SS heroes that are absolutely necessary. The first is Azura. She will be your top single target attacker. She can absolutely knock the hell out of a boss. She has incredible skills that you will use in so much PvE content. Build her to the max as soon as you can. Give her 4 preemptive strikes, the brass knuckles, and 4 unity bracelets, the handcuffs. You are also going to want to build the SS version of Sio. She is an incredible support that will give you great passives, debuffs to the enemy, buffs to your own attacks. She's a huge help, huge help, and you can use her to clear a ton of early story content, and then you will continue to use her on a lot of other PvE modes. Make sure she has 4 soul necklaces and 4 soul rings so she can do the most good on your team. Thank you very much for watching. As I mentioned at the start of the video, this is a very basic overview, just a quick look at some of the heroes that you should be focusing on. If you want to see more details, more descriptions of their skills, more of an explanation of what they do and how they do it, please join the Discord, check out the different sections that we've got. We have guides, we have the SSS Hero Guide. Together, as a community, we are learning about these characters and we are finding new ways to do some really interesting things. I really love this game and I love supporting it and I love seeing new people checking it out. So thank you very much for watching and I will see you again next time. Oh, wait, actually, no, I'm not done yet. I'm on Twitch. I do streaming now. If you are interested in watching some live Soul Arc gameplay, arena matches, summoning, that kind of stuff, please check out my Twitch channel. It is in the description, and I'm going to try to do weekly Twitch streams. All right, now I'm actually going. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.